So in the mid-1960s, you got a whole lot of options for cool cars. Ford, GM, Chrysler, everybody had something big. Small blocks, big blocks, 2 doors, 4 doors, you name it, it was available. The world was your oyster, and people were just starting to understand how much fun it is to have a fast, big V8 American car. What I'm sitting in today, 1965 Buick Gran Sport. One of the best options from the 1960s if you wanted fun and go fast, and a little bit of that American sound. This is a no power steering, no power brakes, big block under the hood, race option Gran Sport. No radio, no bells, no whistles, no frills. Just sexy, loud, fast. Great time to be alive in America. We had all kinds of cool toys, especially in the automotive world. All the big guys were making interesting cars, just starting to understand that Americans like speed. And our kind of speed was a little bit different than the European kind of speed. We started to understand there's no replacement for displacement. What if you were married? What if you needed to live responsibly? If you had kids? Or if you just had a lot of stuff, you needed to be able to haul it, and it wouldn't fit in this thing? Well, there were some other options. One of those other options is you change from your 4-door muscle car into that. So if that doesn't work for your married lifestyle, you could change into this. This is a gorgeous 1963 Buick LeSabre Estate Wagon. Way too many feet of old school American muscle. This thing is a beautiful vehicle from a wonderful customer of ours named Brian. He picked this vehicle up not that long ago. And not to leave anything alone, he put his own little special style on it. We helped out a little bit. As you can see, she sits kind of low. We reached out to our wonderful people at Air Ride, and they hooked us up with this gorgeous setup. We've got a tank in the back where you have your rear-facing seats. If you remember those from the 60s and 70s. Everything's hidden. everything's tucked in the frame rails. From the outside, you can't tell at all. Obviously, she sits a little low, but with air ride controls, she doesn't always have to. Let's take it for a ride. So this is our ride tech controller. With the push of a button, you can change the whole characteristics, all the attitude. So we have all of this set up, shockwave system from Ride Tech. The compressor's in the back, tanks in the back, everything's hidden. Inside the vehicle, you'd never know. This thing is just cool. So in the mid-1960s, the Great American Road Trip was in full swing. If you had a family, a dog, 2.3 kids, maybe a cigarette, you want to go for a ride, you want to go to a long ride, you want to take the kids to Florida, this is what you did it in. A big 401 nailhead under the hood, power steering, power brakes, enough space in this thing for your whole family, their luggage, and your dogs. Look at that. Now I know modern cars, we've got SUVs. Those are cool too. But the SUV is basically what this was in the 1960s. We didn't have big minivans. We didn't have big SUVs. We had big wagons. And I can tell you from experience, old school wagons are cool. You want to show up to a car show and make an explosive splash? Show up in something like this. When was the last time you saw one of these things coming down the road? Now with the air ride conversion we put on this car, this thing rides fantastic. No more do you have the crazy swaying like you're driving a living room down the road. Everything that everybody complains about with old school cars. This thing handles great. It weighs as much as a small boat, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. You could never tell. It's perfect. Brian brought us this car needing a little bit of a attitude adjustment. The previous owner had done some pretty cool work to it, given it a lot of style. It was set up on a static suspension, dropped a little too low, had some issues with some spacing, had a little bit of issues with clearance. That's what he has us for. And trusting us with something like this, it means a lot. Working on something that's cool means a whole lot. Now I know you have a whole lot of options in the muscle car world. As we said, everybody made one. In the mid-1960s, Americans, we just wanted big, and we wanted cool, and we wanted fast. You had a whole car culture that was changing. People were really getting into hot rodding, and factories were helping us. The Pontiac GTO, the Chevelle, all kinds of things that are out there that are just iconic muscle cars. They're cool cars, don't get me wrong. But I don't know too many GTOs that can haul a family of 6 and their dog comfortably and still haul ass. This is a cool car. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. It's got some rust. The carpet's not perfect. There's some tears in the door cards. Who cares? It's cool. It's fun. The owner can get in it and drive it and enjoy it. The problem with a lot of muscle cars today is people get these amazing cars, $50, $60, $80, $100,000 muscle cars, and they never enjoy them. They sit in a garage or they sit in a museum. They don't ever go out on the road. They were built to run up and down the American 2-lane highway. That's what this car was built for. And there's nothing you're going to find that's cooler than a long wagon. interior, there's no Bluetooth, there's no huge stereo system, there's no infotainment center, no GPS. Back in these days, you got a Rand McNally map. You had your co-pilot or co-pilots helping or yelling, whatever. If you were going to go somewhere in a big American road trip, you couldn't do it any other way. And I would like to say, these are something that people should be picking up in the hot rod world. These wagons, if you look at the Nomad, what a cool car. It's functional, it's a hot rod, it's cool. They're hard to find, that's true. Unfortunately, for a long time, nobody took care of these things. If you've collected muscle cars or even just been in and around the muscle car world for the last 20 or 30 years, you know that in the late 70s, early 80s, even early 90s, a lot of these cars could be had for nothing. Or they could be left out in the fields to rot. There's so many cars that come out now that are barn finds, but they do require a whole lot of work. This is a fantastic car. It needed a little bit of work, but it's still a fantastic car. Wagons that haul ass. In the mid-1960s, if you needed something with a lot of space, you didn't have an SUV. You didn't even have full-size vans, really. You didn't have huge trucks. Trucks were for farmers and workers. What you needed was a wagon. What you needed was a big wagon like this. So at the end of the day, you got a lot of options in the muscle car world. If you're looking to pick up something interesting, something unique, something that's collectible, look into wagons. Shop trucks, those are cool. We have one of those too. But you've seen a lot of those. When was the last time you saw a big wagon at a car show? So at the end of the day, whether you're a family man with 2.3 kids, a wife, and a dog, or you're a single guy who just wants to go play in the streets, stoplight to stoplight racing, there's a lot of options in the muscle car world. This is one of the best. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Remember to comment, subscribe, toss us a like. This is Austin at Lucore Automotive.